Alright, I'm going to start right off and just say, wow, is this bike just, it's an awesome bike. There's really nothing else I can say about it other than it's just an awesome bike. And the reason for that is the power. The absolute low to mid-range power on this motorcycle is wild. I've never felt anything like it. I have rode other 1000s and stuff like that, and I've rode 600s. I had a 650 for a couple years, and it just, nothing compares to the low end mid-range of this bike. I do think this bike has 160 horsepower with around 85 foot-pounds of torque. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it is just a monster, which is what MT stands for, monster torque. Now this bike, you really got to be careful. It loves to wheelie. It loves it. I ride in, there's 3 different rider modes, and I ride, now that I've rode the bike for a while and I'm experienced with it, I ride in traction control 1 and rider mode 1, which rider mode 1 is, I guess you can call it kind of like a sports mode. And traction control 1, there still is some traction control, not a whole lot though. It lets the front wheel come off the ground pretty good, but it'll set it right back down. It doesn't like abruptly set the front end right back down. It doesn't cut ignition or cut power like most of these bikes do when they start doing wheelies. It's just nice, easy. It'll lay it right back down for you. Now if I was to turn traction control completely off, oh, I'd have a monster on my hands. I would not be able to keep this front wheel down 3rd gear and below. I can't even keep it down and with traction control on. Like, I'll do a little, we'll see if it'll stay down. I don't know, tires are pretty hot, so yep, see, it came right up. That's a little 1st gear pull with traction control 1 on. The bike didn't set that down, I sat it back down. But yeah guys, this thing is just wild. Now, enough about the power. We all know this thing has power. Let's talk about how great this bike handles. Man, I tell you what, it feels like my 650 I had. It really does. My 650, it was a 2018 CB 650, and it was a light little bike. You could flick it around as much as you want. Now this thing, it's about the same way. You can flick this bike around any which way you want. I think it weighs around 460 pounds, and my 650 weighed 454. So there's not a whole, for a 1000, it's a pretty light bike. I don't know where they shed the weight at on these things, but it's light, it's flickable. You can really maneuver this thing whichever way you want. The ergonomics are really good, and I love that. I feel like I'm on a 600, but with just, this thing just has way more power, and it's absolutely incredible. Now, I did do a couple modifications to the bike. I did some bar end mirrors. I am on the Yamaha comfort seat. That is a must with these bike guys. If you're going to be riding just in town, don't spend the $300. But if you, like me, I know I bought a sport bike or a naked sport to ride long distance, which isn't the best idea, but hey, that's just one I wanted. So I bought the Yamaha comfort seat. I think it was around $300. It may have been $299. Well worth it. It is a must with this bike if you're riding more than 20-30 minutes at a time. The seat is night and day. It's nice and comfortable. Other upgrades I did to the bike was just a fender eliminator. That's it. That's really all this bike needs. You get rid of those ugly Dumbo looking ears as mirrors, and then you get rid of the wheelie bar in the back. You got yourself a nice bike. Let's see if I can't, now that we made it to Mexico here, let's see if I can do a little bit of a pull. come on, minivan. That's all right. That's fast enough for me right there. Now, in that first gear pull, I was about 3/4 throttle because the front end started coming up. And then second gear, I just laid into it. And this bike, if you notice, I didn't use the clutch at all. I didn't even touch it. That is because this bike has a quick shifter. See, look, I think you have to be about 4,000 RPM. Didn't even touch the clutch. All you do is you pull up with your foot and it cuts ignition for that split second and it allows you to shift into gear. Ooh, we got some bends here. I'll show you how flickable this bike really is, guys. This thing is just, it's phenomenal. Like I can't put into words really on how good of a buy this is. If you're watching here in the US, I think the base price is $12,999. That's what I got the bike for. Of course, you got sales tax, whatnot. But for this bike, for only $13,000, you cannot beat it. I know there's other 1000s for the same price, but they do not offer everything this bike has. This bike has cruise control. I'll show you that now. It's got, I turn cruise control on. Let's see, let's get further back from this truck here. Boom. There, I got cruise control on. I know I'm in 6th gear doing 47, but let's get around this guy. Alright, now that I got around that truck, I'll turn cruise control back on. Well, let's just go, we'll click it up to 55. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? That is awesome. I love that. You can't, I don't think you can get that like with the Honda CB1000. Doesn't come on that bike. Same price, but hey, it doesn't have it. A lot of gravel on these bends here. Alright, we'll go a little further. I'll show you a couple more things. Another complaint I have about the bike is you can't change your traction control settings and all that stuff while you're driving, which kind of sucks. Yeah, you can't, like I'm pressing traction control, you cannot change that while you're driving, as well as your rider modes. You can't change that either over here on your right. Yeah, it does nothing. You can't change it while you're driving. You have to be at 0 miles an hour in neutral, and then you can change all your stuff. Yeah, so far guys, after I think about 5 months of owning this bike, I'm happy. I didn't want any other bike. At first I wanted the MT-09 SP, but I was like, hey, I'm spending the money, I might as well just get the MT-10. It is well worth it. That's my review on this bike, guys. When I get home, I'll do a little walk around outside of the bike, show you around the bike and everything. But that's it for this moto vlog here, guys. I'll pick you back up when I get home. Hey, what's going on, guys? Made it back to the house here. I'm going to give you a quick walk around of this 2021 Yamaha MT-10. So first thing that you could probably notice is this is not a factory seat. What I was talking about while we were riding the bike was that factory seat right here is the most uncomfortable thing I've ever sat on. Out of every bike I've rode, that is the worst seat I've ever rode on. Now this, for $299, you can get yourself this nice Yamaha MT-10 embroidered seat. It's really smooth, it's a lot thicker, it's got a lot more foam. The stitching's really nice. It is worth it. You can get it right off Yamaha's website. Now I'm going to jump right in and show you exactly what I was talking about with the different rider modes and the traction control. So first, traction control. this button right here, TCS. You can go 1, 2, 3, hold it to turn it off. Boom. You want to do some wheelies? There you go, turn it off. If I can get it back on. There, back on 1. Now, if you want to go rider mode, right there, there's your different modes. Let's see here. 3 is rain mode, 2 is standard ride mode. I like to call 1 like a sport mode. That's what I keep it in. The cluster is pretty basic. I mean, it's nothing special. I think they've ran the same cluster for a pretty long time. But other than that, that's really all there is to it, other than the cruise control is down here. Right there's your cruise control. Like I said, I did put on bar and mirrors. Flop those out. Just like that. Much better than the stock mirrors that came on it. That's about it. I know in the future I want to do exhaust decant, which gets rid of all of this right here. And that's about $275, and it'll sound better. And then just the fender eliminator. That's pretty much all I've done to it, guys. So there's your walk around of this 2021 Yamaha MT-10. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, like and subscribe. We'll see you on the next one, guys.